everybody about it. And that's what I'm here to do today. I grew up in a home where I had 6 brothers and sisters, a Catholic family. My mom, before she married my dad, she was a Catholic nun. At age 13, they ended up getting divorced. And you know, up to that time, life was pretty easy. You know, my mom and dad at home, things were pretty good. And my dad left, and my whole life just was in shambles. I didn't know what to do. I lived in a neighborhood, and you know, there was a couple type of people you could hang around. Just like school type guys, but when my family broke apart, I started hanging around the guys that were just like me, that were kind of didn't have dads, and doing stuff like that, and armed robberies, and then I ended up spending about 4.5 years with the youth authority. And during that time, there was a man who used to come visit me. I remember when I was in juvenile hall one time, one of my last times before I went to YTS, I had gone to Campo my 3rd or 4th time. And there was another guy from a different gang there, and I ended up beating him up pretty bad. They gave me another year, and I went to the youth authority. And while I was waiting to go to the youth authority, this guy used to visit me, and I used to think, you know what, I'll just talk to the dude just to get out of my room, and he would take me and read the Bible with me. And you know, at first, like I said, I did it just to get out of my room. But you know, when I went to YTS at age 17, I was 16, but I turned 17 when I was in there. I got in a fight about 3 months in, and I got locked down in my room for 7 months. I was on solitary for 7 months, and during that time, I had the Bible that the guy gave me, and I read that Bible, and it was amazing to me the things that Jesus. I never, you know, I grew up as a Catholic, and I, you know, went to the Catholic Church, but I never really knew about Jesus. And so I read the Bible, and I was just amazed at his love and how he worked with people and how he just ministered to him through his life. And so I got out, and you think, you know what, all right, everything's good now, right? I'm out of trouble. I've been there for about 1.5 years now. I'm doing good. I know about the Lord. Things are going to be great, right? Well, I still hung around the neighborhood, so about 5 days after I got out of doing that 1.5 years, there was a party in my neighborhood. There was some guys from another neighborhood. I went to the party and got in a fight, and I ended up shooting 2 guys. I shot one guy 6 times in the face, and another guy 3 times in the neck and chest. And I got arrested, not then, but about 6 months later, when it was my 12th year in high school. I was a senior. They took me out of the 2nd day of school, and they took me, I was already 18, they took me to the county jail. You know, it was either, you know, I was going to trial. I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to trial because, you know, my homeboys was life, you know, well, I'll get out of this thing. And I remember that I was going to trial, and it was either get 11 years or go free. And I thought, you know what, I got in trouble. Every time I was locked up, I got in more trouble. If I go to get 11 years, I'll never get out. Because, you know, I got fight after fight after fight. I was so angry at what happened to my family that I took it out on the whole world. And it was during that time where I was praying, and I was saying, Lord, you know what, if you get me out of this, Lord, I'll turn around. That's what I said most of the time, you know, Lord, you get me out of this, I'll turn around.
Amen.
And, so what happened is I ended up going to 2 trials, and I ended up being found innocent after about, it was 8 to 9 months in the county jail. And then, you know, I got out, and I thought, you know, this is the reasoning this is my reasoning at the time. I said, you know what, I always got in trouble for gangbanging and this and that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do something that's really not a crime. I'm just gonna deal drugs. That's, you know, that's good, right? So I started dealing drugs, and and I started making a lot of money. I bought a house on Mount Hewitt, so I was 18 years old. I got really involved in selling heroin, and I had guys selling heroin for me all over San Diego. About a year later, the DEA set me up, and I got busted for selling, I think it was $100,000 worth of heroin to the DEA agents, and then ended up going to federal. And then when I was in there, and I was thinking, man, what's going on all over again? I remember when I was in the county jail, I promised myself I'd never be here again. And I thought, man, here we go again. So went through that, and after I got out, I said, you know what, no more. I'm not going to do anything. I'm way behind. You know, I think I was 22 years old at the time. All they could get me for on federal was they got me for conspiracy to distribute merchandise. And I was sitting there after I got out thinking, what am I going to do, you know? So I went, and I went for 5 job interviews. At the time, you know, I could BS a lot, so I could BS my way into things, you know. And I think that's what we think we can do when we're, you know, play the game or something. You know, you got over on the guy or whatever it is. But so I went to 5 job interviews, and I got all 5 jobs. And I remember that because I thought, you know, I used to deal, I used to make a lot of money, and then I had to go work for somebody. You know, I'm making, I think it was $3.50 an hour or something like that at the time. I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. But you know what? I said, Lord, I'm going to do it. You know. So I picked this one job that was in Mission Valley, and at the time I said, you know, I'm going to go to school too, because, you know, so I started going to Cleomac College at night. And I remember about a week into the school, my car gets stolen. So I have to, you know, and me, God always gives me choices. He always gave me choices in my life. And out of those 5 jobs, there was one He wanted me to have, but I picked the wrong one. So God makes it some way where my car is stolen, and then I have to take the job closest to me. And it was for a company called Christian Brothers Carpet Cleaning, you know. And so I go work for these dudes. They ended up giving me a car when I worked for them. And these guys were, you know, I remember I'd come back from, we worked out of his house, and we used to bring the bands and stuff back to his house every day, and he'd have Bible study at his house on Wednesday nights. And they would sing worship just like they were singing a little while ago. And I remember I'd come back and I'd put the band there, and they'd go, hey, you want to come sing with us? And I said, well, nah, someone might see me, you know. And but these dudes, after I worked for about 2 years, but after working with these guys for so long, their love was just amazing. They weren't fake, you know. I mean, you know, it was just real. They loved you for no reason. So I started going to church with one of them, and he took me to Horizon, and I've been there for 26 years, you know. And,
amen. Yeah.
A lot of girls doing stuff like that, and you know, going to Bible study at Horizon, everything. You know, I was feeling really guilty about that. And I remember I said, the Lord told me, you know what, everything's good but that. So I went to the girls I was going out with. I said, hey, I can't go out with you anymore. They said, why? I said, it's a sin. And we have 3 kids. And he also blessed me with a business where, you know, it's amazing to me because it's one of the biggest businesses of its kind in the United States. And financially, He's really blessed me. And it's amazing that He's done that to me and allowed me to make this whole change. And I had half of my life without Him and half of my life with Him. And the half without Him is just, if you look back, it was just a nightmare.
That's right.
And if you look at the half with Him, it's like I couldn't, you know, if I could imagine. I remember I was sitting in my parole officer's office when I was like 21 years old or something. He said, you can get a job, you can do this, you can have a family. And I thought, crazy, bro? That could never happen to me. Just all things are possible. Amen. And the same thing, you know, as I come back here today and I look and you know, that really gets to me now because He's blessed me financially beyond belief.
He asked if there was anybody here to Ed. He put a plea out to you, Ed. Put a
Drunk in nails for Jesus' flame.
while your head's bowed and eyes closed, Jesus
Crucified.